Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Namaste. Welcome to Bridge the Gap Arts Initiative. This initiative was formed to raise funds to contribute to artists, art students in need, Abhay and PM CARES Fund. Please do donate us to help artists. Today, the day 2 of Art Digest. We shall be witness to a rare and unique art form from the land of Telugu. Vilasini Natyam is the name given to the tradition of Telugu temple dancers. Unlike similar traditions that have evolved in other regions of the country, the ritual specific, which is traditionally called Gudi Seva, the ceremonial specific, called Kacheri Ata, and the dance operatic, called Ata Bhagavatam. These aspects of the temple dances form an integral part of the Vilasini Natyam repertoire. Apart from being a distinctive style, Vilasini Natyam is unique in that it retains the functional classification of the art practiced by these artists, suitably adapted by modern day stage presentation. An exquisite form of expression shaped over the centuries, enriched by the artistic imagination of countless temple dancers. This dance tradition has been researched and recast by Guru Swapnasundari, who worked under the guidance of Madhula Lakshmi Narayana, a senior exponent of this tradition. Today, we will witness this temple ritual, the dances performed in the temple, and how Purvadhanashree Akka, who is our evening's artist, came to this art form, while she also explains the nomenclature, the pedagogy, the beliefs, and the research that evolved around this art form. Regarding the contributions to this initiative, today is a big day and we have crossed the 6th digit. I am so proud and delighted to inform that we have received 1,500,000 rupees. This is a milestone that should be remembered for many more days to come, and to remember that art is a spinal cord for a human so as to take it to the spiritual platform. Thank you so much. And today, coincidentally, we shall precisely do the same thing. We shall be witness to the temple art. We shall now begin our Art Digest session with Purvadhanashree Akka, who is joining you from Hyderabad. On to your screens. Welcome, Akka.
Namaskar, Meghna. Is my audio clear? Can you hear me?
Yes, Akka.
Okay. I want to congratulate you. It's a moment, not achievement, but a kind of satisfaction, a moment of gratitude that even in these difficult times, this initiative has brought in so many resources together, and your efforts, your sincerity, your honesty has paved this path for many people. It has brought together resources, brought together energies for people who are in distress. And I hope that this initiative will bridge many gaps. And I'm very, very happy and thankful to you for bringing Vilasini to this journey. And I was talking about this dance form, we'll be discussing my journey in Vilasini Natyam. I'll be talking about people who have really contributed to this. And as we go, we will see how Vilasini has grown with years along with me in my journey. So I would like to begin with a prayer. It's Mohana Kalyani, Aditalam, a very special composition because it was taught to me by my Guru Swapnasundari and taught to her by her Guru Madhulakshmi Narayana. And this composition to Ganesha was performed in front of the Bhajastamba in Vishneshwar Agraharam of Peru. Um, it's been a very, very difficult journey for Madhulakshmi Narayana, and I'm so very grateful to the Almighty that her belief, people along with her, like Madhula Venkatratnam, Sarade Anusuya, all those artists who really held on to their art despite every possible rejection or rebuke, or insult or disbelief. They believed in their art, and it's because of their belief that I'm here today sharing this art with you. So I would like to begin with the prayer to Ganesha in Mohanakali.
While I leave the screen for you.
Yes, do you want to go through the audio once? Shall we check one
Yes,
minute?
yes. Okay. Maybe while talking, you should come closer.
Is it audible?
Yes.
Okay.
It is audible, yes.
Okay, ma'am. So I don't know how many people are with us. So shall we begin, or you want to wait for some more?
We can begin, Akka.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm so scared if I come closer to the screen, you will see my sweat. I sweat a lot.
Dancers have to. Yes, that is our sole propriety.
So, we'll
Yes,
begin.
I'll leave the screen for you.
Vigna Vinashakara Vinayaka, 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 Vigna
I think இப்போ சரியா இருக்கும். விக்ன விநாசகர விநாயக, காமித பலதாயக கணநாயக, பாலித சுரலோக. This composition feels for me like coming back to my first day of learning with Swapnaka. The journey began in 2000. I had come back from Chennai, my 3 years of journey in English literature, observing Bharatanatyam, dancing, talking to people, listening, learning a lot. And at the end of 3 years, I was at the crossroad in terms of what I want to do with my art. And my mother, my Bharatanatyam Guru, Kamalini Dutt, a student of Sikil Ramaswamy Pillai, a very, very well-known name in television media for arts. She took me to Swapnasundari ji for Abhinaya in Bharatanatyam. And as everybody knows, Swapnaka is a very well-known name in the field of Bharatanatyam and Kuchipudi. And her Vilasini Natyam journey had already been around 10 years old. So I went there for Abhinaya, and Akka first asked me to perform because she didn't want to take me straight away. And after she saw me, she agreed to teach me Bharatanatyam. And she said that I can't teach you just Abhinaya. My approach has changed towards Abhinaya after learning this Dasyatam. And what approach has changed, how it has affected my inner body, how it has affected my methodology, my handling of Abhinaya, the way I relate to ideas and all that, that has changed, she said. And at that point, I wasn't able to understand what she means. But then I just kept my faith in her and my mother and began my journey in Vilasini Natyam. And as we will go, you will see how this dance form is a distinct language of performance. It is not a Bani of Bharatanatyam. It is not anywhere near Kuchipudi. Because I do northern style of Vilasini Natyam, you will find not glimpses, but Hindi mein ek shabd hai abhas, a feel of Odissi. Because Akka believes there's a theory that initially there was only one Bharatam, one movement body across the southern peninsula, and it got regionalized. It took the flavors of the cultural factors, the people, their languages, their textiles, their food, and all these things came together and changed this Bharatam as the dance forms that we know today. But there was a very, very dynamic dialoguing between different groups of Devadasis across the southern peninsula. And you will see, you will hear, in fact, the echoes of these dialogues in the dance forms as Mohiniyattam, Bharatanatyam, Vilasini Natyam, and Odissi. How did Vilasini Natyam became Vilasini Natyam? Some people may be aware of the journey that Devadasi Atam went through. It started as a ritual in the temple. It started as a poetic engagement in the courts, Devadasi Atam. It also started as a form of an entertainment for people who were traveling, and most of them did not have access to the knowledge banks. So it was the duty, the responsibility of Devadasi to connect people in different measures, in different capacities, with different energies of society. In the temple, she did this in form of a ritual. From morning till night, from waking up the Lord to putting him to sleep and bringing the cycle back again, she engaged with the deity of the temple in various capacities, as a friend, as a devotee, as a wife, as a confidant. In the court, she regaled the royalty, the intelligentsia, with her exposition of literature. Because this was a gathering of very learned people, she deconstructed the literature at various levels in order to build a new narrative in a manodharma kind of a format, where she gauged the energies of the gathering and gave her literary composition a new life through music and through dance. That was Kaccheriyata. In the temple, it is Gudi Seva. Gudi means temple. In the courts, it is Kaccheriyata. In small gatherings, now I'm alone, but I'm sure there are people watching. In small gatherings where the proximity is very less between the audience and the artist, that gathering is called Mezuvani. So she took a piece of poetry and built patterns and narratives around it, on it, and made these extempore paintings of meanings, sculptures of narratives. And this kind of a setup was called Mezuvani. Mezuvani because it comes from an Urdu word called Mezban. Mezban means to host. And she became Satyabhama. She became Vallabhama in an Arta Bhagavatam format, where she played the role of wife of Krishna, who is this very proud, exotic, beautiful woman who's madly in love with Krishna. And her journey through the lanes of love and how she ultimately comes with Krishna as one in this narrative called Parijatam, Navajanarthan Parijatam, which was performed over 9 nights. And in Gollabhama Kalapam, completely opposite role, a maiden, that of a maiden, not from a royal family, maiden, very ordinary woman, taking her pot of milk, and then she confronts this Brahmana. And they start talking to each other. Of course, he does not take her very seriously in the beginning, but very humbly, she engages with him in a very, very deep conversation about the meaning of life. That is Gollabhama Kalapam. And these two Kalapams were done for the general public, which the format is called Arta Bhagavatam. Now all this brought together in one format by Guru Swapnasundari is Vilasini Natyam. I would like to, of course I'll go more talking about the repertoire, but let me begin to tell you how this dance form is different than other classical dance forms because of its very strong body technique. The sthanakam, the charis, the hastakshetra, and also the nritta hastas, which are used in the technique, are very different than Bharatanatyam and all other dance forms. So I would like to show you a few movements in Vilasini Natyam, which are very typical of this art form. The basic posture of Vilasini Natyam is this. It is not this, like obviously, like it is not this. It's ayatam, like Bharatanatyam, and the Natya Rambam is closer. This is my basic posture. Also, this. I do not stand like this as in a Samanaka position, but like this, or like this. And from here starts my movement as te, jha, te, kit, tatta, te, jha, te. This is my tatta. And my madatti means to press. We don't have a nata as such. Madatti means pressing. So it is te, jha, te, kit, tatta, te, jha, te. So you see there is this upward torso movement which is very, very prominent in Vilasini Natyam. Te, jha, te, kit, tatta, te, jha, te, te, jha, te, kit, tatta, te, jha, te. And another movement which is added to it is te, jha, te, kit, tatta, te, te, te. Te, jha, te, kit, tatta, te, jha, te, te, jha, te, kit, tatta. This was these movements with Arthachandra Mudra were grouped in a very big collective of movements because Akka did not just learn from one Devadasi, she learned from many Devadasis. So what she did is, she took the basic component of a movement which may vary. Like you have different banis, but the basic component of the movement doesn't change. The stylization changes. So one Ardhachandra Adu is that, another is te, jha, te, kit, te, jha, te, te, jha, te, kit, te, jha, te. So you must have seen the coming of the foot and going of the hand. That's very typical in Vilasini Natyam. Like they, te. They. The next group of adobas, which are very, very beautiful and bring out the hastakshetra of Vilasini, are the Bilites. They, te. They, te. They, te. Or they, te. They, te. These movements you will see in the next composition, which is Pallavi. It is preceded by, am I audible? Everyone can see and hear you. Okay. It is preceded by 3 shlokams, which are called Nandi shlokams, dedicated to 7 notes of music. Natuvangam, 7 notes of music which emanate from the letter Om. Natuvangam, which is like Shiva and Parvati coming together, and how Natuvangam, as in a dance performance, connects all musicians, brings all energies together. So does Natuvangam, the sound of Natuvangam connects all the 3 words in one sutra. And Mridangam, a shloka dedicated to Mridangam, which is Vishnu in his soft notes and Shiva in the hard notes. These 3 shlokas will be followed by a Pallavi in Maniranga Ragam, Shabda Pallavi. Pallavis are of 3 kinds. Shabda Pallavi, Shabda means word. So mnemonics are strung together, Jhem, Tom, Nam, Tarikita. Swara Pallavi, where notes are strung together, Swara Shabda Pallavi or Swara Sahitya Pallavi. These are the different formats of Pallavis which are performed in the temple in the morning during a ritual called Balabhogam. Balabhogam is the first time that Naivedyam is being offered to the Lord. And this Pallavi is in Maniranga, Adithanam. You will see how the music shifts from one jati to the other.
Saptaswarasamayuktam Pranavam Brahmanirmitam Samastanatyarambhe Pangaya Namo Namaha. Tadavistu Shamirudha Tadavistu Takeshava Tadaviyam Parabrahma Tadaviyam Trayatmakam. Sridangam Mudato Brahmam Vasyamam Vishnurupakam Muktasvarupayantum Vidambhaya Namo Namaha.
6:43. This is 100. Are we here together? Am I dancing to myself, or we have people? Can I know if somebody is there? Or I'll be जंगल में मूल राजा किसने देखा types. Is the audio fine? It's 100% there also. I was talking.
Akka.
Okay.
Beautiful dancing. Yes, yes. We're all here. We're all watching. There are many people. And
Because I
if
couldn't see any message or anything, I thought, am I in my own world kind of a thing? Okay.
okay, you can see the chatting on the right side of the screen if you want to, or if you want me to pop it up on the screen, I can do that as well.
In
Or if
case
you
there are
want to, please go
questions
ahead.
in the Colombo, if there are any
Yes,
questions, then I can address, or I will continue talking about what I wanted to tell about Vilasini.
yes, we are all ears.
Okay.
Yes.
I talked about the journey of Vilasini from being Dasyatam to Vilasini Natyam, but still I would like to go back a bit and tell you why Vilasini Natyam. This name was selected not just by Swapnaka, not just by Dr. Arudra. It was selected by a group of Kalamantulu. They were known as Kalavatis, a group Kalamantulu. They had various names, in fact, for their dance form. Like Sadirat, see, what we need to understand why this nomenclature, somebody asked me. A name is a social entity, and we have to understand the meaning of it, the relevance of it, not just with respect to dance, but with respect to society where dance is being performed. So some people might say that it was like erasing the previous identity, giving a new one. I don't think so. I feel, I mean, if we have to quote somebody, what's there in a name, but still, it is an effort to give a new identity. Even we who go through a lot of um, change in our life, a complete breaking down and a complete, like a phoenix rising from the ashes, we want to have a new identity. Sometimes people even change their names. So the idea for giving a name was to bring this art form again back to people. And it was not done just by Swapnasundari ji, it was with a collective decision of various Kalavantulu in 1995. And this was done in Chennai because in Hyderabad the conditions were not good enough for this art form. And why? Because there was a very strong opposition for the art of Kalavatis. It is wrong. What happened is completely wrong because the art is pure. Artists are also a product of society, and we cannot just judge them, judge the entire community on the basis of few individuals. So, to say that the entire Karavantulu clan is dirty, is amoral, immoral, is completely absurd. To say that the entire Brahmin community is very chaste and pure is again completely absurd. To create these sections in society in art, whereas the purpose of art is actually to remove all kinds of sections of society. The purpose of art is to bring everybody together on the same platform. The purpose of art is to bring us closer to ourselves. And if in this also we kind of create these divisions, then we are not letting the art breathe. So the way it started was with a very pure intention. Dance and music being one of the Shodashopachara, it started in the temple with a very pure intention of devoting one's life and one's dance at the feet of Lord. But I believe the problem started there itself by creating this group of artists who were made into this exotic group, an exotic cult where they are not allowed to marry, they are not allowed to be a part of a conventional society. So this Devadasi, who is supposed to be coming from the Apsara lineage, that's a theory. But if we say that she's an Apsara in real life, that is not true. And to tell her not to marry and give her this identity of the other, somewhere was problematic. As a student of sociology, as a student of gender, as a student of religion, I feel there should not be any disparity between any two people. And to say that this lady will only serve the society in various capacities and not have that happiness, that completeness, that inclusion of being a wife created problems. Nitya Sumangali. We say Devadasi was Nitya Sumangali. I think every woman is Nitya Sumangali. Right from the day a girl is born, she is Nitya Sumangali. She does not need a tali of a lord or a man. She is pure. She is a part of Lalita. For that matter, everybody is Nitya Sumangal, Nitya Sumangali. So far as we touch our divine core, so far as we identify our dark spots, so far as we embrace everyone and become one with the other, we are Nitya Sumangal. So this demarcation that happened right in the beginning, I think, created the seed of the problem. Although in the name of functionalism, it was continuing, but over a period of time, when the patronage changed, all kinds of practices came into the Devadasi system, which was not positive, which was not productive. It may have served the financial needs or some other needs of the Devadasi clan, but overall, it created these differences which came together in terms of a big lacuna in the system, and the whole bubble burst with time. Which is why there was a very strong opposition from inside the community of Kalavatis to stop this art. Unlike the Pillays who continued teaching, in the lineage of Kalavatis, there was a complete removal of their identity, of their expression, of their belief, of their creative energies. The sons and the brothers, they told them, you are not allowed to touch your dancing bells. So Nitya Sumangali did not have her agency to do what she wanted to do, but still, they were artists who fought for their art. They went to the government and they said that we want to dance. And it is their power which brought this art back. What is the repertoire of Vilasini? In Gudi Seva, it starts with Melu Kulupu. Then Melu Kulupu is the wake-up song. It goes on to Pallavi, which I did in Balabhogam ritual. Then we have Baliharan. Baliharan is giving food to all the Ashtadikpalakas, 8 devotees, 8 deities of directions. And then it's Pallaki Seva, where the Utsav Murti is brought out in the palanquin, and the dancer, the Devadasi, dances in front of the palanquin. And in the night, on Nitya Seva day, on a regular day, she puts the Lord back to sleep in the form of Lali. She also sings Hecharika. It is the warning song. When the Paliki comes back in the evening, it's a warning to the Lord that you have gone around, very nice, but you better come back to your duties. It is a warning to all the energies in the temple that please move away. Now the deity is coming. Hecharika, and then is the Lali. This is the daily routine of the Devadasi. On a Kalyanotsavam day, she does compositions which praise the Lord or which sing about the union of the Lord and the goddess. And then there's a very beautiful song called Talupu Teetsepata, where after the marriage, from the bride's side, they close the door. And from the groom's side, he says, please open the door. So there are these two parties, from the bride's side and from the groom's side, and this kind of a very innocent game happens between the two parties. That's Talupu Teetsepata. And then there is, of course, the Lali Pata. So this is the ritual of the Devadasi on a Nitya Seva day or Naimitya Seva day. This is the repertoire of temple rituals. In court, she performed Varnams and Pallavis, Salam Daru. And like I told you, Ata Bhagavatam was about the dance theatre, where she took the role of Satyabhama or Kullabhama. So now I will, we have, it's 53. I will do a piece, it's called Tattvam. Tattvam because it's a Sanskrit word, Tattva, essence of a very great philosophy is given in a very simple way. In a in a literature which is not profound and yet profound, in words which are very easily communicative. And this tattvam is beautifully sung by K. Venkateshwaran. He has also set the swarams in this tattvam. And the original tune was by Dr. M. Balamurali Krishna. Ninnu videsi undalenaya. I cannot live without you. And the tattvam, the purpose of tattvam is same like Vallabhama, same like Art of Bhagavatam, same like Adhyatma Ramayana, where a great philosophy is given to people in a very simple way. Ninnu videsi undalenaya, I cannot live without you. Ninnu videsi undalenu kanna tandri vagudu cheda. How can I live without you? You are my father. And please don't look at me. I am a very ordinary soul. I am like a small child. Please ignore my misdoings, my deficiencies. Please leave it because I am your child. Sarva unaku karta neevu. You are the doer. You are the protector. You are the destroyer. And you are the sakshi. Ninnu vidisi undalenaya.
ಕೈಲಾಸವಾಸ ನಿನ್ವಿಡಿಸಿ ಉಂಡಲೇನಯ್ಯ ಕೈಲಾಸವಾಸ ನಿನ್ನು ಬಿಡಿಸಿ ಉಂಡಲೇನಯ್ಯ ಕೈಲಾಸವಾಸ ನಿನ್ನು ಬಿಡಿಸಿ ಉಂಡಲೇನಯ್ಯ ಕೈಲಾಸವಾಸ ನಿನ್ನು ಬಿಡಿಸಿ ಉಂಡಲೇನು ಕನ್ನ ತಂಡ್ರೀವ ಗುಟ ಚೇತ ನಿನ್ನು ಬಿಡಿಸಿ ಉಂಡಲೇನು ಕನ್ನ ತಂಡ್ರೀವ ಗುಟ చేత ఎన్నబోకు నేరములను చిన్ని కుమారుడనయ్యా శివ నిన్ను విడిసి ఉండలేను కన్నా తండ్రి వగుట చేత 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 ఎన్నబోకు నేరములను చిన్ని కుమారుడనయ్యా శివ 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 ఎనబోకు నేరములను చిన్ని కుమారుడనయ్యా శివ ఎనబోకు నేరములను చిన్ని కుమారుడనయ్యా శివ ఎనబోకు నేరములను చిన్ని కుమారుడనయ్యా శివ నిన్ను విడిసి ఉండలేనయ్యా కైలాసవాస నిన్ను విడిసి ఉండలేనయ్యా సర్వమునకు కర్త నీవు సర్వమునకు భర్త నీవు సర్వమునకు కర్త నీవు మామ మామ పద పమగ సరి రి 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 సరి సరి ద ప సా స సా ని మా మ మ మ పద రి మ ప సరి ప మ మ మ మ పద ప మగ సరి రి 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 సరి సరి ద ప సా స సా ని మా మ మ మ పద రి మ ప సరి ప మ మ మ మ పద ప మగ సరి రి 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 సరి సరి ద ప సా స సా రి మా మ మ మ పద రి మ ప ద సరి ప మ మ మ మ పద ప మగ సరి రి 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 సరి సరి ద ప సా స సా రి మా మ మ మ ma pa da re ma pa da sa ni pa ma pa da da ma pa da sa sa da sa re re ma ga re sa ni da ma pa da da ma pa da sa sa da sa re re ma ga re sa ni da sa ni sa ni da ni da pa da pa da pa da pa ma ga sa ni sari 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 ravani sa sarvamunaku kartanivu sarvamunaku bhartanivu sarvamunaku bhartanivu सर्वमुनकु कर्तनीवु सर्वमुनकु भर्तनीवु सर्वमुनकु भर्तनीवु 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 सर्वमुनकु कर्तनीवु सर्वमुनकु भर्तनीवु सर्वमुनकु हर्तनीवु सर्व साक्षी शिवाधार सर्व साक्षी शिवाहर सर्व साक्षी शिवाहर निन्नु विडिसी उंडलेनय्या कैलासवास निन्नु विडिसी उंडलेनय्या उंडलेनय्या
At this point, if there are any questions, I can. It's almost 7:10. The accompanying music is different. Is there any speciality? The music depends on the composition. If it is a ritual, the mantras are recited in a particular way. If you see the Baliharan, you will note how each um, um, Bali is recited in a very, very monotonic manner as a stotram. In a Pallavi, it is like any other ragam. The talams are also from Shuladi Saptatalas, but in rituals, Swapnasundari Akka has researched deeply in rituals. The talams that she brought back are very rare, like Ranga Pradipika Talam, Veera Vikrama Talam, because there is, I have to share this, there is an elaborate ritual called Devata Ahvanam, in which various energies, not just Devata, yes, the deities of various energies, various beings, various worlds are invited on the first day of Brahmotsavam. And in that elaborate ritual of 3 hours that Akka has researched and consulted many books on Agamas and brought back these talams, those talams we don't see in a normal repertoire. Like I said, Ranka Pradipika Talam, Veera Vikrama Talam, and so on. There are almost 40 talams that she has brought. There, the tala system is a bit different because it pertains to the nature of the deity. Accordingly, the talam has been conceptualized keeping the sashabda and nishabda kriya of the feet. So when we used to perform the talam, it's a very, very deep, intense experience because we have to invoke a deity. So the way we punctuate talam is very different and very, very specific because, as you know, agamas are very specific about every practice of the temple. There, the talams are different, but as such, we follow the Carnatic form of music in padams, in javalis, but the way the music is handled is different, if I may say so. In padam, each line will be first done in a padartham manner, then a phrase will be taken from the padam, one word will be taken from a padam. So there, the focus is not as such on the musical quality of the composition. The focus is on how the ideation is done. Of course, the musicality is not compromised, but at the same time, it is very different from a padam exposition that you will see in other dance forms. And in Javali, towards the end, there is something called a Gaptu Varsa. Throughout, the Javali is a composition of a lighter tone in terms of the content and the music. And towards the end, to lighten up the moment, the dancer will break into a small rhythm piece called Gaptu. It's not a planned composition, it's a spontaneous reaction to the chollas or the music. In fact, there is no cholla. She will only be going, like in Kathak, you have a theka. So the Pallavi will be played, or a musical composition spontaneously will be played on violin and flute. And the dancer will break into this very beautiful, simple presentation of Drita towards the end of Javali, which is very unique. I've never seen that in any other dance form. And in Bhagavatam, the music treatment is different because the purpose of the composition is different. So the padyams and the gadyams, they are mostly composed on ragas which are they are not serious ragas like Todi and Bhairavi. So I won't say, it's more to do with communicating the content. So the ragas are accordingly chosen, like Ananda Bhairavi. So to bring, again to say folk element, to bring, let me say, an element which can connect easily, which can make the dialogue very spontaneous. Such ragams are taken so that the exposition is more spontaneous and more simpler in Bhagavatam. But in Varnam, it is again a very classical kind of a treatment, the ragams and the talams. And as you have seen in Pallavi, it is the same tala format that we follow. In Tilanas also, I thought of doing a Tilana, but I don't think we have a time. We have time. Is there any other question? Does Vilasini Natyam follow any particular text? Does it follow a text as in which way? See, understanding of any dance or theatre has to go back to Natya Shastra. It has to go back to Abhinay Darpan. It has to go back to all the Alankara Shastras. Those are the texts of various thinkers like Abhinav Gupta and Bharata and those visionaries who wrote on not just dance but theatre. Theatre as an art, theatre as a life, which is why all these texts they give various understanding of not just an art form but of people, of communication, of self-understanding through arts. So definitely Vilasini Natyam is not a figment of imagination of a person. It is coming together of a collective consciousness over a period of centuries. Yes, the roots are going back to Natya Shastra, definitely. There cannot be any dance form which does not take its roots from Natya Shastra. So in terms of the understanding the core qualities of the dance form, these are the texts which one can see being reflected in Vilasini Natyam. For forming these ritual dances, Akka has referred to various agamas. She has gone through texts on Pancharatra Agama, she has gone through texts on Shaiva Agama, Shakta Agama, and and also dialogue with people. She has talked to various archakas to understand what and how things were performed in the past. And she has, like she uses the word, telescope back and taking the theories from these texts, talking to these people, the scholars, applying her own understanding of the art and the people, she has formed this corpus of ritual dancing. And for Varnams and for Padams, there is Abhinay Swayambodhini, the text that Devadasis used to follow. And there are traditional Varnams which Akka has taken from Devadasis. Like what I do, Bhairavi Varnam, Sami Vinara, is Dasi Atam Varnam. She has taken from Devadasi. The text was not there in any written format, in any text, no known text on Varnams. So like that, she has gone to the libraries, she has researched on the text, she has talked to Devadasis, and we are also taking contemporary texts. Like I have worked on, recently I worked on Rabindranath Tagore poetry. I have myself created a composition called Mandodari, which is based on a Sanskrit verse. So not only are we using the traditional compositions to show Vilasini, we are also expanding the reach of Vilasini in terms of its understanding, its variety, its potential. So this is what we are doing, taking the classical texts also and also the contemporary ones to show how versatile Vilasini Natyam is.
Thank you, Akka, for the extraordinary performance.
Thank you.
It was so interesting, so much information loaded in this 1 hour. So much to remember. I'm so thankful we did this on YouTube so I can see it many times to refer it if I wanted to.
Sorry, I crossed your time limit. It's
no,
very...
we would love to have more.
I'm so sorry. It was...
No, Akka. In fact, if I could sit through the night listening to this and watching your dance, it's so informative, so graceful. Really, lots to learn from this unique session today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Akka.
Everyone for being a part of this, and please go to Bridge the Gap initiative. There are details where you can contribute, and let us make this time better for those who are lesser privileged. And thank you all, my team, for bringing us together. Thank you very much.
Yes. We have another question. If you would want to take it.
Sorry, I thought you were saying my time. You want to hold it? Do you feel using newer text changes the nature of the dance in some way or changes your approach? Nature of the dance. Newer text. Okay, can you be more specific? What do you mean by newer text? Because
Yes.
for me, see, whatever said and done, the classical literature has its own charm. It has its own periodicity. It has its own vocabulary. It has its own grammar. It has its own discipline. And when we say newer text, it is from a period of of the contemporary. If it is about a topic which is very contemporary, that is different. If it is again something to do with my engagement with art in terms of divinity and bhakti and shringara, I choose the text accordingly, which allows me to dialogue with it in my own way, which allows me to expand my horizons also, does not restrict me as a dancer. The text which challenges me. Sometimes text opens up area inside you which you were not even aware of. So Mandodari did that to me. Although the text does not say anything about Mandodari, it's a text which only says that please stay, please don't go. What shall I say to you? This is not the right moment. A kind of a dialogue in between a man and a woman. But it opened up this possibility for me to explore a relationship at three levels. When I discussed this with Kamalini ji, I wanted to do this text as a person talking to a dead body. From there, because the text says, don't go, please stay. If you go, how will I live? If I say, just go away, it showed my indifference. So I wanted to do that with somebody whom I have lost recently. And from that seed grew up this composition on Mandodari and Ravana. So this text allowed me to talk to a character which I had not even known before. A contemporary text can do that. And I think people very consciously choose a text. When you say, since that comes from a different context, they choose a text which wants them to say something, maybe something which they could not say before in a classical language, which is why people are choosing texts from today's world which talks about their own pain, their own sorrows, their challenges, their anger, their frustration with the outer world. And they are now also creating text. And I feel when you do that, it only takes you higher and higher as an artist. It does not let you compromise at all with your integrity as an artist. And in fact, challenges you big time. And that's something like which I feel every artist should do. Come out of your comfort zone. It's very difficult because we tend to choose pieces which are like us. So I have learned this in a very, very hard way of sometimes getting other people completely different than me. And I think people should do that. Choose texts which allow you to go back to your roots. Choose texts which allow you to meet somebody which you've never met before.
So very well explained, Akka. Thank you so much. And I received a message while you were dancing that the Vishweshwara Agrahara that you mentioned, where Srimati Lakshmi Muddula Lakshmi Narayan. Yes, my student who messaged me saying that she saw you as a young child dancing along with her, and she used to. It seems she used to go to each and every agraharam and perform, and she remembered those days, and she wanted me to mention to you.
Okay.
That Vishweshwara Agraharam.
No, I have not been to that place.
Okay,
I
maybe
have
Akka.
Maybe Akka must have gone there. Research definitely, of course, she has gone there because she saw her guru perform there, and Akka has gone there. Maybe the student of yours has seen some documentation of Swapna Akka where she is seeing her guru dance. And I have only danced Vilasini Natyam in Rangpur Koval in Hyderabad.
Okay.
Even today, Whistler also, in fact, Brahmotsavam happened, and Akka and her students performed these rituals, Balharan and Pallaki Seva.
Wow.
All these rituals are done elaborately from morning till evening, and that's something which Akka does very religiously. You see her do a dance ritual from morning till night. She does that. So
Yes, yes, that's exactly what she said too. Morning till night, the whole night she used to perform, and then to every Agraharam house, it seems they'd go and perform and announce about this and she remembered it. And her father's name is Vishwanathan Kondalagaru.
Acha.
Yes, and she really wanted me to convey her pronouns to you and Akka and Lakshmi Narayana Garu.
Thank you so much.
So this is information for all of us, and it's just mind blowing.
Thank you. I just wanted to, if we have 2 minutes, I just wanted to again reiterate the fact that art belongs to everybody. It is the purity of the heart and the intent with which an art has to be practiced. Many malpractices have happened in the past, and we cannot hold an entire community responsible for it. We cannot hold Devadasi community responsible for it. We cannot hold the Brahmin community responsible for it. Bad has happened, wrong has happened, but there are people like us who believe in the spirit of Devadasi art, and we see it with lot of reverence, with lot of potential, and we do it with lot of sincerity. And I think that's what every artist is doing. And I hope people see this sincerity in the purpose and intent of Vilasini Natyam practitioners.
So
Thank you
nice.
so much.
Thank you so much. It was nice having you here in our initiative.
Thank you. My prayers for everyone. Please, let's hold on to our belief and our prayers, and let this too pass. I'm sure
Pass.
we'll be back to normal.
Yes, to normal very soon. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Akka. Thank you. Thank you all for being here. And tomorrow we will again meet at 6 o'clock with performing artist of Art Digest being Gayatri Rajaji, and day after tomorrow, Srimad Deepak Mazumdarji. See you again. Thank you. Namaste.